today I am going to do a little bit different things. We are going to solve algorithm problem with the TDD approach, and one of the problems that we can solve today is how we can reverse a string using TDD. So let's try. So I can create a new Xcode project, and for example, since I'm not going to there's no point to create an iOS project because there's no point to put up iOS simulator. So let's try to make OS the project, and I think we can start with command line tools, and let's rename for example reverse string here, and let me save it somewhere. DSA, data structure algorithm versus string. So it's going to be under DSA, and I am going to have like a Git repository for that. So yeah, I think everything is set, and let's build, and maybe we can see some error, hopefully not. Make sure that we are in the clean state. Great, so we are in the clean state. So what we can do right now, we want to enable the testing target. So what we can do is add the plus button here, and we can make sure we are using the macOS here, and let's search about the unit test bundle here, and we can rename that into a reverse string test. This is the unit test part of our code. So let's add, and we will have this new reverse string target and file, and of course we already got this scheme as well, but we don't need this test scheme, so we could delete this. So let's click that scheme and manage scheme, and let's delete that scheme. Right, so we are in a clean one single scheme, and if we want to run the test, we can press this diamond, but I believe we could not run the test because the scheme is not connected to the test. So we could also use command U, but it's not possible right now. So we could edit the current scheme, and let's go to the test. Let's add this plus button, and let's add the testing target. So now when we test this scheme, the reverse string, it will run the test target. So one way to prove it is let's try to command U or run this diamond thing. So it's triggering the test built in this target. So I believe it is okay right now. So great, we are in the green state. So before we dive into test-driven development stuff, let me create a little note here. For example, is the reverse string logic will be for example given has empty string, and when executed should return nothing, for example empty string, because we are not reversing anything, right? And there is another case, for example given has like single string count, when executed should return that string because it's only one string, it shouldn't modify it. And for example given has for example string of AB, and it should return BA. So I think this is the case that we want to cover. So in test-driven development, we could start from the very minimum things, minimum effort that we can do. So let's try to test when executed, or for example when try to reverse, should not reverse on, for example, this empty string, on empty string, right? So we will have like the system under test, the reverse and the string here, and we will have the result when we try to reverse from the SUT with the given text or with the given string of empty, and we want to make sure that our result is empty or our result is equal to empty strings. That's the same thing. So let's run the test, and we could find that our compiler could not find the specific type. So it's a good sign of test-driven development in the first step. So let's try to create. I'm gonna use struct for this because I don't have any reason yet to make it as a class. And let's create the reverse function with the string argument. Oops. With the string argument and the type of string, and I believe it should return a string, and for now we are expecting that it is returning an empty string. So let's hit the command U again, and great, we can have like a green test for this, but of course this is kind of silly because we are not doing anything here. We're just trying to meet this expectation, but that's okay. That's the process of test-driven development. So why don't we try to increase the test case? It should not reverse on single string count, for example. So what we want to do, we can just copy here, and we want to have, for example, A. We want to reverse A, and I believe the result should be equal to A as well, because we are having only one single string count, so the result should be equal to A as well, right? So let's run the test again, and we can see that our new case should not be passed, right? Because we are returning an empty string here. So if we are returning A, then the second test will pass, but the first test will fail. And what we can do here is cover both scenario. So when it is inputting an empty string, and it should not reverse. So if the string is empty, then it should not reverse, right? Or should return itself. We added a logic, so let's try to test it again. Great. Okay, so we still have the green state on this, but we still need to cover this scenario. So if the string count, for example, is equal to 1, then just return itself. Okay, so we have the green state here. So I think it's on every single green state, I think it's okay to commit this, but in this video I think I'm gonna commit on the last video. So we can try to commit every single once every single function is passed, but I think, yeah, that's my bad. I think I need to do that on the next video. So let's move to another cases, which is should converts on for example more than a single string count, right? So the setup is pretty much the same. We can just copy, and I believe we can just copy here and add, for example, AB, and and the result, we are expecting that result is equal to BA, right? So let's try again. In the test-driven development, we are expecting that it is failing first, right? And we can change the ID error here. So I believe we can try to just reverse the string here, but it is going to returning a different type we are expecting this string, right? Let's force this, and of course the compiler, our friend, is telling us that the type is not matching, so we could force it as a string like this. Okay, so all of these cases is covered right now, which is actually pretty much good. I think we could commit add logic for reverse string. We can try to like confirm more times. We can try to like confirm with like multiple cases, for example AB and I don't know, Mac, hello. This is the sample. We can get the index for this for each, and we could get the index and the string, and we could, I believe, do the operation inside here, right? The string. So I believe this one should be like the string dot reverse of that here. So how about the index? It is helping us to get the the error message well filled at index, for example. So let's try to run the test again, and I believe that should be okay. Okay, so I pressed the wrong button, I think. So let's run the test again. Okay, cool. So it is still passing, and let's try to commit, add more samples on reverse string. Cool. So if we have like good suite of tests in this example, we could change our algorithm easily, or code easily. So for example, I want to have like another way of reversing a string by not using this reverse method, but I want to like code it using my own code. So we could do that. Since we have like good tests, then it means that we are not afraid of changing our algorithm. So let's try. So what I want to do is iterate on each the string as character, and then I would say iterating in a reverse position or in reverse manner, and then appending each of the character into an array and then merge it. So we could do that. So for example, I want to iterate from 0 to the my characters that count. Let's see if we can iterate in a reverse manner, and maybe you should have -1. Okay, so this will be iterating in a reverse manner, right? And then reversed characters, append the character, which is the characters at I or at index here, and the goal is to having this array of characters, both of them. This is from here. You can create from here, so we can have like a array of characters is equal to I believe that string argument can be mapped into a character. So we will have like the array of character. Let's see the type here, string and element. Okay, maybe we need to convert that into a character here. Let's try. Let's see the type. Missing argument. Okay, let's just try to map it and let's see what happened. Okay, so it is not throwing an error, and right now in here it is not throwing an error. So right now we need to provide this array of reverse character. So I believe we need to have an array of reverse character here, and let's see, can I convert the string.element character into character of string? Okay, because I need to have array of character, not a string, like that. And I believe we don't have the compiler error, and the goal is to get rid of this string reversed. So what we can do is we can use our reverse character, and we can map each of the character into a string, I believe, here, and we can join that into a single string. So this array of character will be mapped of each type to become an array of string of each each alphabet, and then join it into one string. So let's try to run the test again and see. Okay, cool. So we are basically changing implementation without worrying if the test is going to be failed or not. So this is the power of the test-driven development, or this is you could say like the power of the unit test. So we are freely to change the implementation. We basically have the freedom to do it without having afraid of changing the behavior, for example. So let's try to for example, let's try to not use loop for now. Let's try to prove that we are doing it right on a single element, single string count. For example, let's try to specify more cases. Okay, so let's try to make it simple. So what we want to do is we want to copy here, and for example I want to revert a string from Swift, and the reverse should be TFIWS, and let's try to add, for example, a capital, and this should be capital as well. Okay, right, so this is so we are actually proving that our logic is working in a nice blend with test-driven development. So we can for example commit here right now, change reverse implementation. Okay, one thing we can improve is the compiler is guiding us to changes to let. So let's try to run it again, and yeah, it's still passing. So yeah, I believe that's all about this video. So test-driven development is really helping from in my case, in my experience, being a software engineer. So I believe that is the one of the crucial things to have as the software engineer as well. So yeah, I think so. Learning test-driven development is it will have like more beneficial as a software engineer. So I think that's all. So thank you for watching. If you like it, hit like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you want, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.